it's a lunatic parade. Let's just be completely honest. We have now we've moved past Biden's old and doddering and can't figure out what's going on, and he's made bad choices in Afghanistan, because a lot of the folks that the Republicans are talking to are for us getting out of Afghanistan, and they didn't really give a shit that it was uncomfortable or difficult or caused deaths or was violent, because they expected it to be, and they had a relatively realistic view of it, which is why they wanted out earlier, because it's dangerous and stupid for us to be there. And then since that doesn't resonate well, like, wow, this guy, even in his doddering elderly state, can manage to pull off something Trump promised he would do and never did, right? So now they're moving to, well, Biden screwed this up on purpose. His goal is to destroy our tactical advantage by having a base in Afghanistan and bring over 100,000 Afghans, terrorists, so that he can help with the next 9/11. It's just goofy. And every single person talking on it thinks it's a major conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy to destroy I'll give you a good start. This is Giuliani and Steve Bannon, and they're going to give us an update on the fact that, according to this, the Taliban could strike within 6 months. And this was really Biden's idea all along. Let's be honest. He wanted this to happen. It's not that he's old and he can't make decisions. That's the old argument. The new argument is that he's a mastermind. We're back to Joe Biden criminal mastermind, because doddering old Joe, Sleepy Joe, doesn't work. Not if you're trying to sell this level of panic. You can't panic people. They're going, wow, Sleepy Joe, huh? Sleepy Joe managed to get us out of Afghanistan. Maybe our presidents should take more naps. Maybe snorting unknown substances and only sleeping 4 hours a night isn't healthy, and often will make you make bad decisions. I mean, just saying, if there was a president recently who lived like that, probably not good. So there we go. And now I want to see if the audio on this is any good. We will check in just 1 second.
I want to bring in Rudy Giuliani now. Rudy, I know you got a lot of thoughts on NATO, but talk to me first of what Posobiec just mentioned about they're going to probably announce their new government and have a ceremony for the new terrorist superstate with their allies to control the Central Asian landmass, probably on 9/11. How's that set with you, America's mayor?
Well, first of all, he is no longer America's mayor. He hasn't been America's mayor for a long time. Technically speaking, right now, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who is now our transportation secretary, is America's mayor right now. He's a small town mayor. He's gay. He's a new parent. He's got a longtime partner. Like, in terms of 2021 America's mayor, it's more than likely the happily married gay man with two twins that he is going to raise healthfully, versus old pedophile who tried to grope a girl he thought was 15 years old and whip his dick out in front of her in a hotel room. Like, as far as America's mayor goes, if we get to choose, I would like to bring that up.
Very, very bad. Of course, it's a terrible thing that Biden brought about. From the very beginning in April, when he said he was going to close it down on September 11th, I objected to it because I could see.
Yeah, you could see that. Why would you shut it down? There's so much money to be made, and it's not like after you left the politics after the 2016 race that you didn't go into the security business. Who makes money in that business? Yeah,
Wanted to make it a political circus, and I mean that's disgusting. He picked September 11th so that he could say, "Oh, the war is over." He doesn't realize that almost all of the people who lost loved ones on September 11th, particularly the firefighters and police officers, they're very frightened about the idea that the Taliban, who was there at the time, is going to be back in charge. Al Qaeda has, in about 2 weeks, doubled in size. New ones are coming.
Yeah, they've gone from 500 to 1,000 guys from when we did think they existed when they didn't, and to when they didn't. By the way, in case you were wondering, the conditions on the ground that would have made May 1st the exit date for Donald Trump was that never again would Afghanistan be a safe place for Al-Qaeda to go. No, there would be zero Al-Qaeda fighters in Afghanistan. If you can't guarantee us that there aren't zero in all of Afghanistan, and I guess you have to go door to door every 3 weeks, then we're gonna stay. We gotta stay. Sorry, we have to stay in Afghanistan until we get definitive proof, a census perhaps, that there are zero members of Al Qaeda, future or past. Never mind the fact that Trump let 5,000 Taliban out of jail and released their current deputy minister from prison in Pakistan to negotiate the deal for us to get out. But the conditions on the ground that Trump set, because that was the difference, it's conditions based. There were conditions. Biden didn't have any conditions. He just set a date, let's go. Trump had conditions. And the main condition was no Al-Qaeda in the country ever, or we're not leaving. So we're never leaving.
The woodwork, ISIS-K, the Haqqani network, which is actually more powerful than Taliban. The place is like a place.
Well, apparently not.
For terrorists. And now we have absolutely.
Yeah, it is a playground for terrorists. The Taliban were flying their own dude around trying to hang a flag. They're using the helicopters. I know they know how to take one off. We never saw it land.
No control over it. Our intelligence is hard. I mean, this once again demonstrates our intelligence is almost always wrong. If our intelligence tells us one thing, we should probably do the other.
All right, that's leadership. And by the way, for the record, I mean, in all fairness to Rudy Giuliani, his quote-unquote intelligence has never told him anything. He any intelligent thoughts he might have, he does the opposite. Like occasionally, I don't know, spitballing here, Rudy, but follow me on this one. Let's say you're a grown man alone in a hotel room with a 15-year-old, and who turns out to obviously to be older and kind of a Chris Hansen To Catch a Predator kind of way. But as far as you know, she's a teenager. She's told you so. She's done a whole interview with you. And your intelligence, I mean, your morals would tell you not to do a lot of stuff too. But I mean, we're talking about Rudy Giuliani. Your intelligence might tell you, don't take your dick out in front of a 15-year-old girl. It's not smart, especially considering there are cameras all around and you were just being filmed and, honeypots being what they are, Rudy. You've been to Ukraine. Who's Moisha? We all need to know. Your intelligence might tell you this could be a trap just so someone could film me taking my dick out in front of a 15-year-old and put it in the new Borat movie. That part of your intelligence. And of course, if it did say that to Rudy Giuliani, he's just told us he would do the opposite.
Oh, I mean, so if someone tells us, they really aren't that dangerous, what is that based on? It's based on the same faulty intelligence that told us that it was going to be really hard.
The same faulty intelligence that told us that they were that dangerous and we needed to invade Afghanistan and Iraq? You mean the WMD stuff?
Tried to overthrow the Afghan government. And finally, everyone that I know that seriously involved in this says there's no way that this isn't a great danger to us. I mean,
sorry, why do you know people who are seriously involved in this? How many Taliban do you know, Rudy? How many members of ISIS-K do you employ?
People are symbolic. They want to get back at us, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're not ready for a strike within 6 months, given the fact that they now have all of our weapons.
Yeah, they have all of our weapons. Yeah, it'll take them about 6 months, Rudy, to get here via helicopter. In about 6 months, one of the prop planes that they have that, of course, had a thermite grenade thrown into it and a bunch of screws and bolts missing. But, I mean, nothing you couldn't, a good Taliban airplane mechanic couldn't fix. In 6 months, they're going to have internet, and they're all going to take flying lessons online and figure out how to fly a prop plane under the radar all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. or they could fly into the Chinese area near where the Uyghurs are kept and do something awful there. That's all. I mean, it's closer, but I mean, honestly.
Well,
whoa. Slow down for a second. When you say strike, you mean...
We did this yesterday. Steve Bannon needs you to say whatever you just said 3 different ways so we can make 3 different clips. I need a 1-sentence version, I need a 30-second clip, and I need a 3-minute clip, because if we're going to put it on Facebook, it only monetizes after the first minute. Rudy, you know this. Or it could also be that Rudy talks in such circles that no one really knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Strike regionally? You mean strike inside of Afghanistan? You mean strike regionally against Tajikistan? Or are you saying a strike in Europe or in the United States?
Well, let's take it a step at a time. They're capable now of striking American interests in Europe. The real question is, with
American interests in Europe? What do you mean? They're going to fly? They're going to attack Germany, but only our base?
to another one in the continental United States. From what I can tell, which is, from afar.
Very little.
And just getting bits and pieces. They're not ready.
Yeah. He's just telling us from afar and just getting bits and pieces. But don't worry, that won't stop him from trying to warn you that Al-Qaeda has just seized a half functional helicopter and will use it to fly it into the Twin Towers. Not the Twin Towers, of course, and we don't have those in New York anymore, but a pair of small apartment buildings in Burbank.
Hold it, hang on for a second. Whoa, slow down. What do you mean that?
Yeah, Rudy, you're talking too fast. We need to is this real? The former mayor of New York City, whose brilliant idea after the first bombing of the Twin Towers was to move the emergency management office into the Twin Towers before 9/11, knowing they were a target. You're telling me that genius mind has maybe been watching clips of chunks of headlines of bits of news reports, and in his mind has concocted it. Slow down, Rudy. Dude, tap the brakes. Steve Bannon's brain does not work in the Tasmanian devil of chess that you have going on in your head. Ease up.
What do you know that we don't that says they could strike?
What does Rudy know that we don't? That you can pretend to have a laptop you don't for years, and other people will bullshit on your behalf. You can get disbarred and face legal action and for a client that you threw yourself under the bus for repeatedly and still never get paid. Well, I suppose. Well, he doesn't know don't take your dick out in a hotel room when it's just you alone with a 15-year-old girl. I think he doesn't technically know that. In
Europe right now.
Well, the fact that they've been able to do it at different times over the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, before they even took over, the Taliban was capable of doing something outside of the United States. They could do.
Yes, they were capable of doing something outside of the United States, largely inside Afghanistan. Does Rudy know that Afghanistan is still outside the United States? We have not made it the 51st state, no matter how much Steve Bannon and Ben Shapiro and that crowd want it.
In conjunction with Iran. Iran is certainly capable of it. God, they almost killed me twice in Europe.
Did they? What'd they do? Make you choose the chicken instead of the fish? What was that? Was the third hooker with herpes their idea?
But you're saying the Haqqani network or Al-Qaeda or ISIS or the other people.
Yeah, what's the difference? I mean, yeah, they're at war with each other. Yeah, they'll spend a lot of time killing each other and probably be way more angry with each other than they could ever be at us for years, especially if we're out of the region and we're not participating in this. But yeah.
Which is brew of the terrorist superstate, not Taliban, quad Taliban. But I mean, because it's all one, right? They say it's all.
Of course, against us, they're all one. And in fact, except for ISIS-K, they have all been allies. Haqqani is suspected of being the real power behind the Taliban. And ISIS.
Well, technically speaking, in the last, I guess, 18 months, the real power behind the Taliban has been Donald John Trump, since he's the one that broke 5,000 of their leaders out of prison and their deputy prime minister out of Pakistani jail and had him negotiate the deal. So, I mean, if there's a real power broker, there's a real star maker, it's Donald Trump.
K is the one outline.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just throw out there, the Taliban has been announcing all throughout this morning who their new cabinet members are going to be for the new government. They're already starting to roll this out. You just hit the nail on the head. Sirajuddin Haqqani is going to be the new interior minister of the interim government of the Islamic era of Afghanistan, a literal terrorist that the FBI has a $5 million bounty. Well, I found out where he is. Can I get a piece of that? Maybe a finder's fee?
Yeah, knock yourself out. They know some pilots. Pack your shit. Go get him. You know where he's going to be. Land on the ground. There's some right-wing Congress people that'll get you a flight right in there. I mean, your seat will be taken on the way out, but that's okay. You won't need it.
The FBI, hook it up.
That's the whole thing. And look at Steve Bannon, pleased with himself that he's discovered, oddly enough, right in front of these other three guys, that he's allergic to shellfish, apparently. Because there's no way that gin by itself can do that to a human being's face.